What's up, you guys? It's Steve here. Hope that you and your family are having a blessed Sunday. And finally, we're hearing that it's happening, that this week, both portions of the infrastructure package are going to be ready to roll. This is your stimulus check update and your stimulus package update. Now today, Sunday, July 25th, we're seeing news articles and we're seeing video footage come out where bipartisan senators are saying they're going to have that infrastructure first portion for roads, bridges, and highways, that traditional infrastructure bill, ready tomorrow. That's right. They're saying they're going to have something to present to us tomorrow. So it's going to be a big day with a lot of news rolling out. And also, we're hearing that that second portion of the infrastructure bill for human infrastructure, aka more stimulus provisions, money for people, that's going to be ready next week as well. That's what we're hearing. I'm going to be sharing with you these articles and this video footage that's coming out right now, today, Sunday, in just the last hour. And take a look at these headlines just coming out. Bipartisan infrastructure bill 90% done, but still hung up on mass transit funding, senators say. Now, here's another one. Senators hopeful bipartisan infrastructure spending bill could land Monday, tomorrow. And here is why this is very important. Take a look at this. This is the congressional calendar, and you can see here in yellow is the House, in blue is the Senate, and this week, the last week of July, is going to be the last that the House is going to be in session until they go on their August recess, and they won't return until mid-September. And the Senate as well. The first week of August is going to be their last week in session, and then they're going to be going on recess, and they won't return until mid-September. So we have heard Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer say they want to get this all ready to roll before they go on recess. They want to iron out all the details so that way when they come back in September, they can pass the infrastructure bill and also the largest stimulus package that we have seen so far. So I'm going to dive into this video footage and these articles so you can get caught up on the latest as of today, July 25th, 2021, and you can be prepared for what's about to unfold this upcoming week. But before we do, if you could do me a quick favor, just takes a second. If you could just smash that like button, I would appreciate it. Just takes a second, really helps out the channel a ton. Thank you so much. Also, leave your comments down below. I'd love to hear your thoughts, and share this out if you think it's going to help out other people. Those gestures just take a second, really help me out a ton. Thank you so much. And if this is your first time here, don't forget, hit the subscribe button, turn on that notification bell. You can come join the viewing community. Come and join the Ram fam. I'll keep you up to date on all this stuff: stimulus, Congress, the economy, unemployment, anything having to do with money. That's what I like to talk about. And also, don't forget, join me on Instagram at SteveRam3. That's the best place to get a hold of me if you got any specific questions that you want to shoot to me. But with that being said, you guys, let's go ahead and dive right in, and I'm going to get you caught up on the latest as to what they're saying, what we can expect to see this upcoming week with the infrastructure bill, both parts, both traditional infrastructure and human infrastructure, aka more stimulus. All right, you guys, so let's go ahead and dive into some video footage that just came out yesterday, giving us an update of the final hang-up for the first portion of the infrastructure bill. Now, right after that, we're going to be watching some video footage that just came out today, and we're going to be hearing from Senator Warner, who's going to be letting us know that they are planning on having the bill ready tomorrow. And also, we're hearing that they want to have the agreement from the Democratic caucus on stimulus ready this week as well. So let's go ahead and dive right in.
We've got some new reporting this morning that senators are close, really this time, to finally closing that multi-trillion-dollar infrastructure deal. Nearly a month after this moment, President Biden walking out of the White House to announce that there was a deal. But there's still one thing putting on the brakes for now on those bipartisan talks. And our team on Capitol Hill knows exactly what that is. Let me bring in our NBC national political reporter, Sahil Kapoor, who's on the Hill with the latest. Sahil, as we're showing this video tomorrow, the 1 month anniversary of Joe Biden saying, hey, we've got a deal with these senators. Now there is one last reported hang-up. What is it, and what's the timeline for something to actually be finalized here?
Hey, Hallie, senators say they are close. They are on the brink of finalizing a $579 billion infrastructure package. And the one big hurdle that seems to be holding this up is the issue of money for public transit. There is traditionally, let me go back 40 years, there's traditionally a ratio of 80% to 20% of funding in these kinds of deals for highway money and transit. Democrats want to keep that 20% for transit. That's a big priority for them. Republicans say that ratio is not fixed, and they want want to drop that number a little bit below 20%. And that's a problem for Democrats because the issue of transit money relates to their goals of equity, and it's a way for them to fight climate change. They want cleaner buses and more public transportation for people to get out there. There's also an urban-rural divide where Democrats represent more urban areas that depend on public transit. Republicans represent more rural areas that, and they want more money for highways. So that's a big hurdle. There are a couple of others, including labor provisions and as it relates to the Davis-Bacon Act that have yet to be resolved, and also potentially unspent COVID funds being rescinded, but those are less heated. Transit money, if they get through that, they will try to move forward with it next week, Hallie.
So there you have it. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. As we heard them say, the final hang-up is pretty much an agreement on the transit money. And we have Republicans and Democrats with their different viewpoints. But now let's take a look at what Senator Warner had to say today on Fox News Sunday about the progress on the infrastructure bill and how he's saying they want to have this bill ready to go tomorrow.
Senators say that they are on the brink of finalizing a massive bipartisan infrastructure bill after it failed a key test vote this week. But there are still obstacles. Joining us now, Virginia Senator Mark Warner, a Democrat in the middle of both the bipartisan negotiations and a broader Democrats-only spending bill. Senator Warner, good to have you here this morning on Fox News Sunday. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me, Martha.
So you said that you thought that there would be an infrastructure bill that could be looked at on Monday and that you all were working through the weekend. Will you have that bill in place for everybody to look at come tomorrow?
Martha, I believe we will, because the one thing I hear, I've been all across Virginia the last couple of days, people want us to invest in our infrastructure. If you step back, we have actually are investing at about half the rate that we invested in our infrastructure as we did in the 1990s. Matter of fact, Infrastructure Week became, as you know, a joke line during the last administration. They kept promising they were going to do infrastructure. It never came to pass. A group of us, 10 of us, 5 Democrats, 5 Republicans, been working on this for the last couple of months. This is the same group who actually put together the last COVID deal under President Trump. So we know each other, we trust each other, and I think you're going to see whether it's $100 billion plus for roads and bridges, whether it's close to $50 billion for resiliency for those coasts who are having sea level rise, whether it's making the kind of investments in cleaner buses. For example, our country's going to buy 20,000 new school buses over the next couple of years. Should those buses be made in China or made in America? I think they ought to be made in America. And there's a host of new things around making our grid smarter, broadband. I think we've got a menu of options. And candidly, we've had those menus of spending items agreed to for weeks. What we have had to work through, because my Republican colleagues did not want to use enhanced or actually making sure we follow our IRS tax laws. So we've had to replace some of those pay-fors. We're down to the last couple of items, and I think you're going to see a bill Monday afternoon.
So there you have it. We're hearing by tomorrow afternoon, we're going to be seeing the official bill released for the infrastructure package. Now, we'll see if they have that ready to go, and we'll see if it unfolds, and I'll be sure to report it to you guys. But in addition to that, we're going to go ahead and jump through in this interview, and they're going to be asking, what about the timeline? And not just the first portion, but what about more stimulus? Let's take a look at what he had to say.
But go ahead,
Senator, you heard Senator Scott and others said that they didn't have a bill to vote on last week. And this is what Senator Schumer said about his intention and his timeline. Watch this, and then I'd love to get your answer on the other side.
I have every intention of passing both major infrastructure packages, the bipartisan infrastructure framework and a budget resolution with reconciliation instructions before we leave for the August recess. That's the schedule I laid out at the end of June, and that's the schedule I intend to stick to.
I mean, that's very ambitious. Democrats hold the House, the Senate, the White House. Can you get those two things done by this August recess, Senator?
I sure want to, and by the way, there's a little bit of wordsmanship going on here. There were a half dozen times when Mitch McConnell was leader of the Senate where he would put up what's called a shell bill because you've not finished the details, and then you substitute the actual text once you get into the negotiations, because there'll be amendments on this infrastructure bill. But we'll have that text. It'll be out there tomorrow. After we're done with the bipartisan bill, I would love to have some of my Republican friends join on the reconciliation effort, the larger effort that looks at things like universal preschool, that looks at things like a free community college, that looks at things like a broad-based middle-class tax cut for every family that has a child in terms of the child tax credit. I would hope some Republicans would join with us on that, but if not, I think the group of the 50 Democrats will have to work through that resolution as well.
So there you have it. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. As when he was asked, are you going to be able to get all of this done this upcoming week? His response was, well, I sure hope so. But we did hear that the first portion is likely going to be ready Monday. And what he said was, after they get that done, they want to turn their attention towards the reconciliation. And he's hoping some of his Republican colleagues will be willing to hop on board and help them with that. And we're going to be seeing what stimulus provisions are included in that. So there you have it. Looks like tomorrow is going to be a big day in Congress. And I'll be sure to keep you guys up to date here on the channel. And as always, you guys, thank you so much for joining me. And if you made it this far and you haven't already, don't forget, hit that like button. I would appreciate it. It helps me out a ton. And also, if this is your first time here and you want to stay up to date on all this stuff, don't forget, hit the subscribe button, turn on that notification bell, and you can come join the viewing community, the Ram Fam, we like to call it, and I'll keep you up to date. And if you got any specific questions for me, be sure to shoot them to me in the DM on Instagram at SteveRam3. That's the best way to get a hold of me. I do my best to go through all those DMs and respond to all of your questions. But you guys, thank you so much. I'll catch you in the next video. Remember, 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, Monday through Friday. Guaranteed uploads and also random uploads throughout the day as news breaks and occasionally on Sundays as well. But with that being said, you guys, hope this reaches you well. I'll catch you in the next one. Take care. God bless. This is Steve.